HOA blocked access to my cabin, forgot I own the only federally permitted bridge in. The dust hadn't settled on the winding mountain road when Karen's voice sliced through the crisp air like a knife. "This path is private now," she declared, her manicured hands resting on the hood of her gleaming SUV, parked squarely across the only route to my cabin. I stood there, my boots sinking into the dirt, staring at this woman in a fur coat who looked like she'd never set foot in these woods before today. Her smug grin said it all. She thought she owned this mountain. She didn't know I held the key to her down-falla, federally permitted bridge she'd never cross without my say-so. Karen was the new president of the local HOA, a self-appointed queen of our quiet mountain community. She'd rolled into town 6 months ago, her wealth and arrogance trailing her like a bad perfume. The path she blocked wasn't just my lifeline to my cabin. It was the only access for a dozen other families, too. She claimed the HOA had revised the rules, declaring the road private to protect property values. Her real motive? She wanted to force us out, buy our land cheap, and turn this slice of wilderness into her personal playground. I'd heard her bragging at the last HOA meeting about her vision for luxury cabins. My blood boiled, but I kept my cool. She didn't know the storm she'd just unleashed. The truth unraveled faster than Karen's composure when I showed up with the paperwork. I'd inherited my cabin from my grandfather, along with the only federally permitted bridge in the county, a rickety wooden structure spanning a rushing creek that separated our cabins from the main road. The permit, granted decades ago, gave me sole authority over who crossed it. Karen's face twisted when I pulled the faded document from my backpack, her eyes darting between the official seal and my calm smile. "You can't block my access," I said, "because I control yours." The crowd of neighbors behind Mefix who'd hauled groceries and firewood up that path for years murmured in surprise. Karen scoffed, but I saw the first crack in her armor. Then came the twist. Old man Jenkins, a grizzled recluse who rarely left his cabin, stepped forward from the crowd. He was the last person I expected to see. Jenkins, with his weathered flannel and a voice like gravel, held up a yellowed map. "This here," he growled, "shows the old logging road Karen claims is hers. It's been public land since 1890. The crowd gasped. Jenkins, who'd lived here longer than anyone, had been quietly digging through county records after Karen's first HOA power grab. His map was a bombshell, proving her private road was a lie. Karen's face flushed red, her designer sunglasses slipping down her nose as she stammered, That's not valid." But the neighbors were already buzzing, their frustration turning to hope. The confrontation exploded the next morning. Karen, desperate to save face, doubled down. She'd hired a crew to bulldoze a section of the path, claiming it was her property to develop. By noon, the dirt road was a mess of churned earth and splintered logs, her SUV still parked like a throne in the chaos. I called a meeting at the bridge, and the whole community showed up: loggers, retirees, even a park ranger who'd caught wind of the mess. I stood on the bridge's edge, the creek roaring below, and laid out the facts. Karen's actions were illegal, and without my bridge, her fancy cabin was cut off. No supplies, no workers, no access. Her crew stopped their machines, glancing nervously at the ranger's badge. Karen's voice cracked as she shouted, "You can't do this. I'll sue." But the ranger shook his head. "Ma'am, you're the one trespassing." Karen's empire crumbled in slow motion. The neighbors, armed with Jenkins' map and my bridge permit, filed a formal complaint with the county. The HOA's so-called rules were struck down in a single meeting, and Karen's bulldozing stunt landed her a hefty fine for environmental damage. Her SUV, once a symbol of her power, was towed after she refused to move it. I watched her storm off, her fur coat dragging in the mud, muttering about lawyers. But the real blow came when the county revoked her cabin's access rights entirely. She'd forgotten one detail. Her land was on the wrong side of my bridge. Without my permission, she was stranded. I didn't gloat, but I didn't open the gate for her either. In the end, the mountain reclaimed its peace. The path was restored, The neighbors rebuilt what Karen had destroyed, and I kept my bridge permit tucked safely away. Karen sold her cabin at a loss and left town, her dreams of a luxury empire buried under the weight of her own greed. The community grew stronger, bonded by the fight. Old Man Jenkins even started joining us for coffee at the general store, sharing stories of the mountain's history. It wasn't just a win. It was a reminder that no one owns this land alone. We share it, protect it, and stand up for what's right. What do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved? Or should we have shown her more mercy? Share your thoughts.